Welcome back, warriors. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you saw our last video on the $100 challenge, we had a mid-century modern chest that we did. This is the matching dresser. We found, and we can't explain why, but we have found that sets just don't sell in our area. We've done a number of sets and done them all exactly the same way, and we always get calls, they want this piece or that piece or this piece, never the whole set. So in light of that, we're going to do something a little different with this chest, or with this dresser, than we did with the chest. We're going to be using a different paint, different color, different process to do it. So stick with us and we'll show you what we're going to do with this one. Welcome to our channel. I'm Jim and this is my wife Cindy. We find old, outdated, used, and sometimes abused furniture like this and turn it into this. Join us on our journey of furniture makeovers. So as with all of our pieces, we want to start by taking off the hardware. Now even our cleaning process on this one's going to be a little bit different than when you saw in our last video. So first thing we want to do, make sure you have a little tub or a bucket, Tupperware container or something. You want to throw your hardware in, that way you're not losing it or misplacing it. It doesn't get all over the place, screws don't drop on the floor. So let's get started and get the hardware removed. And here's why we remove hardware before we clean. You can see that you just get years and years of dust and grime and stuff that collects around the hardware edge and behind the hardware. You know, we got the same thing over on that side. So today we're going to be using Rethunk Junk by Laura. And how you start with that is they have a solution. It's called the Prep. Just like that. This is to be sprayed on anything that you're going to be painting. So we're going to use the Prep on all the surfaces that are going to be painted, and then on the inside of the drawers, inside of the cabinet, we'll probably use Dawn dish soap with some water to clean that all out. But for anything that's painted, we want to use the Prep. This solution actually cleans and deglosses, gets all your grease off, gets everything ready to accept the paint. So unless we have any really rough surfaces, we won't even have a reason to sand. I'll probably do a little bit of sanding on the top. Some of this is, I think we'll see some of these places where the finishes come off. I think we'll see that through the paint. So I am going to lightly sand a few spots where there might be gouges and stuff. But here's how we're going to start. So real simple with this. I'm going to start with the drawers and then we'll do the rest of the cabinet. So with the Prep, you just give it a spritz. And actually we're going to let this sit for a few seconds. And this stuff is a really light mist, so this little bottle goes a long way. I think we've done 3 or 4 pieces with this already. We still have almost half a bottle left, so it goes quite a ways. Okay. Okay, so something to remember, the Prep is always going to be our last step before painting. So to do the cabinet, I'm actually going to use Dawn dish soap, wash it down, get all the grease, oils and stuff off it. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to do a little bit of sanding on the top. So I want to finish up with the prep. So we're going to wash it with the Dawn, sand it, then we'll spray it down and wipe it with the prep, and then we can go to paint. Okay, so I got a clean tub of water. Just gonna do a quick rinse, make sure we get any soap residue off. And then once it dries, we can do some sanding. Okay, so we're gonna sand this down a little bit. We're gonna start with an 80 grit. And then we'll go up from there to get it smoothed out, probably go up to a 120. Since we're painting, if we were staining, we'd go probably higher than that after the 120. We'll see what it's like after that. But as always, gang, make sure you got your mask on. We're going to just give it another quick wipe with a slightly damp rag. Just get rid of all the dust. Actually, don't even think we need to go to a 120. Feels pretty good. Now, if we were staining, we would definitely go to higher grit. Obviously, we'd have to cut through all the finish, but we go to a higher grit. Once we got through the finish, to smooth it out, we'd probably go to a 120, and then we'd probably go to a 220 at least. But for painting, we don't need to be quite that smooth. Okay, there we go. So we'll let that dry, and then I think we'll be ready to paint. Well, almost forgot before we finish and get ready for painting. So I want to make sure that we've got any dings and stuff taken care of. So we're just using some Dixie mud for this. Okay, so one more quick wipe down with the prep. I kind of like to mist up my rag a little bit. You got something from Amazon. This is from our Amazon wish list. It's a stool to roll around on instead of our little desk chairs. And I already know this came from Kathleen. She's awesome. Kathleen, thank you so much for seeing this and for thinking of us. This is going to be, we're just getting ready to paint our dresser over here. So I'm going to put this together before we do that because I'll use it to paint today. And again, Kathleen, thank you so much for getting that for us. It's really appreciated.
Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
So let's put it together and roll around.
Okay.
Thanks, Kathleen. So we're all set to start painting. We're using the Rethunk Junk in Midnight. Whoops. Okay. We always line our pans with foil. Makes for very easy cleanup. Okay, let's head over to the piece and get painting. Okay, so again, we're going to be using the Krylon metallic gold leaf This stuff is a bomb. I'm telling you guys, this stuff is really nice. And we love the gold with the dark colors, like the dark blue and the black. Just really looks nice. Okay, so I want to try to catch this in the light for you guys. You can see here and here and here. This is where we did, there you can see one. And here. This is where we did the mud underneath to fill in those areas. So you can see there's a little bit of splotchiness. That's very typical. You got to remember this is only first coat. And you should never really expect full coverage on a first coat. So we're going to go to second coat, and the reason I show you this is because I want you to see what it looks like after that second coat. Okay guys, we're going to be using the Rethunk Junk Tough Top just on the top and on the edges of this. It's just an extra top coat for protection. A lot of times on most of the Rethunk Junk stuff you really don't even necessarily need a top coat, but we're going to do this just to give some extra protection to the top, since we know that's going to be like a high traffic area. Yeah, I probably should. Okay guys, so we're going to dump just a little bit in here. I'm not sure how much this will take, but if you've used top coats before, sometimes with paint, the top coat will, when you brush it, will get contaminated a little bit with the color. So I just want to make sure that we're not going to run into that and contaminate the entire jar if it does that. You should work on getting the entire surface wet. You notice I'm just kind of throwing it on here, and then we'll go back real quick and even it out a little bit with some smoother brush strokes. So here's a tip for you. When you take your drawers out, you can either label the cabinet and the drawers or just the drawers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so you know where the drawers go back. I didn't do that. So let's hope I get the drawers in the right spot. Okay, let's get another coat of
Tough top.
Okay, so put our last coat on. We're going to actually roll this coat, but I'm using a dry roller. I added, I don't know if you can see this or not, I added a little bit of the paint, just a touch. When you do dark colors, if you add a little bit of the paint, it helps to make sure you don't get streaking. So I'm going to roll it, but I want to get a glob on here. So I can get my whole roller wet. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see this on camera, and I'm trying to get an angle where you can see it. We've sealed the top with the tough top, and the little bit of extra glossiness on the top looks, I mean, it's the same color, but it's a little somehow blacker than the base of the unit, which is fine. But in looking at it, we think it would look really cool to do the bottom board and the base with the tough top also, and it would kind of frame out the dresser. So we're gonna this is what happens when you start looking at things. So we're gonna put it back up on our paint cans, and we're gonna paint that bottom trim with the or coat it with the tough top and see how that looks. It's gonna give it almost a two-tone color. So we're going to try that and we'll see what happens. Okay, big reveal coming up. So just a quick reminder what we started with, and just want to run over the numbers really quickly. We did obtain the dresser free from Facebook Marketplace. We spent about $20 total in material and paint, etc. There was no hardware cost. We just reused the same hardware and painted it. We are going to list this for about $325. So our potential profit will be $305 on this piece. And let's take a look at the final result. We hope you enjoyed today's makeover. Leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you think. And as always, we appreciate every one of you. And we'll be back with another video before you know it. Until then, have a flippin' awesome day.